Hey, everybody, welcome back to the episode, welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode is really exciting for me because you're actually my oldest friend. Like, not old that you're old, you are old, but like you're my longest term friend. I think we became friends when, was it AYSO or Little League? AYSO.
Division 8.
Yeah, we were probably 8, 9. So we played Little League together, or I think against each other, because you were in the Sun Valley one or whatever.
Sunrise.
I was in Encino. We played against each other in Little League.
Later in my career, I would come over to Encino.
You did?
I defected to live, essentially. The money was good. The money was good, man.
Little League.
I got kids.
Yeah. So played against each other in baseball, played AYSO Soccer together, grew up playing youth golf together. Because you were a member of the club, or family-wise, so was mine. And the summer leagues would compete against each other.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then maintained a crazy friendship our entire life through college, young adulthood, and then now here we are, as late 30, almost 40-somethings.
Yeah. The sleepover, maybe hundreds of sleepovers. Lived down the street.
Yeah.
Shout out Tony Romas.
So yeah, I promise you guys this won't be an insider conversation because I think your story, dude, you and golf have had an interesting. Because so as everyone knows, these episodes, the title of the podcast is Love and Golf. It's about our relationship with the game, how we had. I call it like the infection point, like that moment where we're like, whoa, I fucking love this thing, and then the obsession and what the obsession turns into, whether it's given gifts to us, our personal life, our families, and then kind of what we then in turn give back to the community in the game.
Right.
So I know that, dude, right now you're crushing life in every facet. Look at the hat. You're working with Erik and Random Golf Club. And
I'm honored and blessed. Really cool stuff we got going on over there. And this is actually my first official job in golf, though.
Really?
Yeah, this is 100% in golf. I did, a couple shoot some photos here, take some video there kind of jobs. But last October, Erik called me up and he's like, we got stuff to do. Let's get to work. And
so let's rewind it too, because I know you on a very personal level. I know Landon, the early professional working in the music industry, marketer, right? Mm-hmm. But people, if they look at you now, they look at PAROUTMAN, they look at everything you're doing like, oh, this guy must have been a photographer forever. No one knows that you literally picked up a camera a few years ago.
Yeah.
Self-taught, self-made, self-educated, self-everything. So this episode, if we can tie it back and make some learning lessons in here in this, because everyone I feel like has dreams or aspirations to do something and they don't know how to start it. That's kind of a common theme, I think, in a lot of these stories. But would love for you to first tell us how you first fell in love with golf, and then take us to when did you know you wanted to do what you're doing now?
Yeah, I fell in love with golf. I remember I was a little later. We would always hack around and stuff like that. But I think kind of in those maybe early teen years or so, it was going to the Van Nuys driving range, Encino Balboa. Sorry, not Van Nuys, Encino Balboa driving range. And which was all dirt back then. It's grass right now because we've had a ton of. I saw a photo of it the other day. It was all grass. I was like, whoa. There's grass under there?
Oh my God.
It's trippy.
For those who don't know, this Encino Balboa range is very, very representative of why did I just brain fart? The movie Tin Cup. Tin Cup. It's like that driving. It's like the same thing. Yeah. But in the valley of Los Angeles. Yeah. Which is weird.
And it was, we both grew up in Encino, which is, it's right in the heart of Encino. The 2 18-hole golf courses. Probably the flattest golf courses on the planet.
You can spray it everywhere. And it's still everywhere.
But the range was always to turn the lights on, you'd go hang out. And me personally, I would, my stepfather got me really into the game. My dad kind of plays it. I'm lucky enough to have great relationships with stepfather I've had since I was 3 years old and a father I've had since I was 0 years old. And we would go and essentially I'd gamble with him for how late I could stay up. So it would be like, okay, if you get it closer to the 100-yard mark, which is a big 100, you get another 5 minutes. So it was really, just about developing a short game there. And it, as you know, is still really bad, but always loved playing. but just would spray it around. And then I had just like a major inflection point in, I believe, like 2016, or infection point, as you said.
Yeah. So hold on, time out. So
Yeah.
you weren't, because you, how do I say this politely? You weren't very good.
No.
Right. So do you think were you not addicted to golf in the way you are now because of the skill level? Do you think what made you like say, I'm going to go get better at this because I like it?
Yeah, it was, well, that was much later. But like when we grew up playing, it was just, I liked it because, we're going and hanging out. And, and like that was
because we did buddies golf.
Literally,
trips.
Our parents would drop us off in the morning and then pick us up at sunset. It was like, it was enough to just keep us totally preoccupied, kept us off the streets, San Fernando Valley. It was just like something really fun to do, and I had friends through it, and they were the friends that carried over, like us from soccer one season to baseball, and then it was golf in the summer. So I really never really had the desire to get better. I was like a 16, 18 handicap, could barely get the ball over 225, 230 off the tee, just a wicked flip like this at impact. And it was when we would have, Mike and I have this tournament that went for like 15 years or so.
Yeah, it was like 12 or 13.
Yeah. And one year, it was always a tournament between a certain amount of guys. And one year we decided we were going to play another team of a similar tournament, and Ryder Cup style. So these guys that, we've been banging on each other for years. And then it was finally go out time to play on the same team. And it was Ryder Cups, 0 points all week. So I came back, I'm like, you gotta take this thing more seriously. I'd always wanted to get better. I'd always dreamed of being a single digit. That was always the dream. So luckily I happened to be working next to a golf tech. And I just went in there and I got a swing evaluation, and the guy was like, he called in all the other coaches, like, you guys got to see this. This is one of the worst ones we've ever gotten before.
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
It was bad. I still, because that's like the beauty of that kind of video reinforced thing. Like I can go back and look at that first swing evaluation and just be like, whoa, it was really bad. And
it's like you hit. It's like with the driver. The driver swing was like, it was like a flop shot with a wet, like 60.
God. It was. Yeah, shout out John at Golf Tech in Santa Monica. He now opens the Van Nuys one.
Oh, cool.
Kind of like really cool deadhead teacher. We talked a lot about the mental game. It wasn't like a let's go rep, and then do it again, and then, hinge drill, It was very much just like starting to think of the golf swing as like a fluid motion, kind of like a song. Yeah. And that's what kind of got me into it. And I asked him after the evaluation, I'm like, what is it going to take? He's like, what do you want to do? Single digit. Okay. 50 lessons, and you only punch shots for like 3-4 months.
No
I was
way.
like, that doesn't sound fun. He's like, you want to know what it takes. And that's really what it was. Like, I really relearned the golf swing about where to be at impact and like getting through the ball and not just like slapping at it and flipping at it. And the handicap just collapsed. I mean, I went 16, I was like a 12 in 3 months after that, got it down to 8 or 9, maybe about 7 months into the process. And then when we got to that full year, because we did pretty much a lesson per week, I think I was around like a 6.5 or so. And so it was makes the game so much more fun. There's a lot to be said for going out there and hacking around, having some friends. But if you really want to take the game seriously and like play it at a higher level, scrambling for high 70s is a lot more fun than scrambling for high 80s.
And so to also talk to me about that, because I mean, I've always known you in our golf trips and even like, playing recreationally for fun around here, you've always loved it, but like did getting better, was that like the kernel of the seed that blossomed into where you're at now? Yeah,
I honestly think that was part of a different process too, of not just getting better, but incorporating the game into my life. I'm at that point, we're all coming into this world where you got to make a living, get a job, meet people, networking. And I quickly found out that spending 4 hours with someone on the golf course was about as deep of a look into their soul as you can ever get.
Yeah.
If you're going to do business with somebody, you want to know how they react to adversity. You want to know how they react to joy, what they do with anger. Do they internalize their anger? Do they get it out and show the entire world? You can learn all that in 4 hours. You can know absolutely nothing about somebody, play golf with them, and then kind of just get a deep insight. What's their family? Do they have kids? Wife, great relationship. Is she pissed that you're out here playing golf right now, or is she happy for you to get outside the house?
Shout out Katie. shout out Katie, your wife, who is probably the coolest of all time, because you play a lot of golf, you're in a lot of golf, you do a lot of golf, you travel a lot. So if she's listening to this, Katie, you're awesome.
Shout out Katie for sure. Yeah. She's great. I do have the little side, thing that I can say now, where if she calls me on it a little bit, you put 3 times this week, 4 times this week. Yeah, it's work. It's work.
Yeah. Well, it is.
Yeah, it is work.
So, So let's kind of, I want to paint a bigger picture so everyone can understand, because you and I saw it in you too, because we went to the PGA show together. Wow, what year was that? Was that 1918? With Tony Napkin.
So 2020 was the third year we went. So it would have been 2018 was the first year we went.
Yeah. So it's 2018, guys, and Landon and I are both we're obsessed with golf, love golf. We're like, hey, let's just go to the PGA show just because. I didn't have Mully yet. I think it was just starting to be an idea.
It was an idea. I remember it was an idea.
Yeah, an idea. And you weren't doing anything. I think you just picked up a camera. You were just learning how to do stuff.
Yeah, I was working in production, doing a lot of tech. I had a commercial production company. Did a lot of,
right.
would fly up to Silicon Valley, shoot with some companies up there. I'd been in the music industry for a while before that. I was kind of getting from the marketing end that I started, which is there's storytelling and marketing. I mean, it's kind of like corporatized capitalistic storytelling, but I kind of fell in love with I'd like to do more things behind the camera. And so I kind of left the music business and we started this agency and we made some pretty great commercials. And that's kind of what we were both doing at the time.
Yeah. But were you told you were going to be a marketer, or was that how did you make the gap? Or how did you bridge the gap from I'm a marketer? Because I remember you worked for AEG, right?
Yeah.
AEG, and then you went into production.
Yeah. So when we came out of school was kind of social networking kind of had this promise, right? There was the MySpace era. It was kind of entering the Facebook era. And Facebook had this original platform called Facebook Flyers, where a little flyer would show on the right side of your screen. This would become Facebook ads and is now a multi-billion-dollar thing this year. But at this point, it was just this really easy way to advertise locally, which was really hard in those days. You had to either get on a radio station. When I was doing concerts, festivals. This is the third year of Coachella to kind of date it. So this idea that we could now advertise to certain people, certain demographics in certain cities was very hard to do in the days previous to social media. So that was kind of my thing. I came into the concert world. I'm like, listen, it's all changing. Hashtags. Remember when I was telling these executives, they're like, what's this hash? It says hashtag. And then there's a thing after it. And I'm like, it's kind of you're putting out this idea out there. And the hashtag is a way of kind of setting it up as this is what we're talking about. And they're like, I don't get it. I'm like, just put them in the ads. Just hashtag.
I still don't get it. As a social media expert, it still blows my mind. So you pick up a camera and then all of a sudden talk about how you fell in love with being behind the lens.
Yeah. And
it's because right now it's gotten you do a lot of stuff at Random Golf Club. I want to get into that, but I really still want to know that love you have, because I've seen you really, and I hate to use the woke golf thing because I laugh because it's fun, but you really fall in love with the history, the legacy, the authenticity of the game, what it means. I can't really think of a better person in my group of friends that has really adopted the culture of golf like you have.
Yeah. I just got into the first time I played a Rainer course was a really eye-opening things for me. The CB Macdonald Rainer idea that a golf course should have these kind of almost presets if you want to use like a Lightroom. That like there is a certain archetype that you can tell on each hole, and these are kind of the structure that you can put it in. So I got really big. I think it was Shore Acres was the first kind of course I ever played like that. So I got really big into the history and stuff like that, and how, you go to Ireland, which you've gone, and you go to Scotland, which I haven't gone yet, but you've gone, and you see kind of this, how it starts.
Wait, speak on that. I don't know about this.
Well, so kind of read about Fried Egg does, a lot of great, they'll go into a course and actually tell you about everything. But when Rainer and CB Macdonald designed a course, they had these kind of just like set holes. So like the Lido is the big example that's in the news right now. In the Eden hole.
When you say set holes, you're talking about like a template kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like it's a shape and bunkers and
it's more than a shape. It's there are common shapes, like a Baritz is like the long rectangle type green usually with like a little hollow in the middle, and they're not set rules, but they're kind of these just kind of patterns that you can start a hole with and then kind of tweak it a little bit. A lot of the fascinating holes that Rainer did and CB Macdonald did weren't the exact templates, but they were kind of just like a subtle tweak on them that just worked out really well. The Redan is one that everybody knows. Like normally you go to a course and you can look up what a Redan green is, but there's always a Redan green at a course. So you're seeing more Baritzes now. It's a lot of it's kind of cool because it's like you get to the hole, you see the name of it, and basically kind of what's about to happen. Even if you've never seen the hole before, what that archetype is. And so I got into that, and then hanging out with Cole and Metalwood, and kind of the pandemic, I think this woke golf you speak of, kind of I got into it deep, and I had nothing to do in 2020. I was just hanging out with my wife. I had a 1-year-old daughter, and just buying like every 1 iron or 2 iron I could buy on. And it was more about reliving our glory days. Like, when I think about like the Scotty Terillium putters, and I remember we used to like dip them in water to make them like rusting, all that. Like it was my fun way of going back to those days and seeing what that feeling was. So I bought every 1 iron, 2 iron that I could find on eBay.
We don't say that word in here, dude. I'm just kidding. I knew it was coming.
Just beep it out.
I knew it was coming.
I'll go back into
the authenticity is key, man. Like I'm not gonna hit eBay is great, but eBay is one of the for selection purposes. Dude, Mully's been alive for 1.5 years, almost 2 years. So I can't expect that we're gonna have everything eBay has. So and plus it's been a lot of inspiration for me. So I can't hate on it.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting platform. I've had a lot of experience with it growing up.
So did I. I've used it a lot. I would come over and I'd see like you'd have the Snake Eyes 1 iron. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what are you doing with the Snake Eyes Blaze 1 iron?
Just love the brand. And by the way, it's coming back. We were at a PGA show this year. Yeah. There was like a Snake Eyes booth.
No.
And it was like Bad Birdie shirts, and kind of like they had some Bad Birdie style prints. And then they had some like new Snake Eyes gloves. But
Did they change the logo?
No, same exact logo. It's such a great logo. It's such a great logo.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just kind of whatever I found. Like the cool part was finding like kind of unhit sets. And just knowing that, like, you could look it up like that. Those were forged in like the late 90s, and it's 2021 today. And that club has just been sitting around for like 23 years, just waiting to get hit for the first time.
Pull it from the rack.
Yeah. And of course, I'd take it to the range and like hit a couple thin with it and be like, oh, that's not it. But then I just kind of love that idea of kind of going back and not necessarily making the game harder, but you are making the game harder, but getting those feels that you would have got as a kid.
Yeah.
That you just like, everything is just so easy to hit these days. And you were even saying hit it off the toe and it goes 290 and then rolls out forever. That old stuff, not the case.
Yeah. I switched. This is not a plug for my friends at Wilson, but I did just switch to the Wilson, the blades through 7. And I've noticed that, like, because I was in the Strixon train, the ZX7s.
Yeah.
Great club, but like I got a little lazy. I got lazy because I could afford to miss, and like now I'm like playing, and like there's a feeling you get with the blade, and there's an accountability in your swing you have to have. You can't get lazy, but that's a whole other side topic. But back to you. So you picked up a camera and got into this world, but it was for fun at first. You now and you made money. People contract you to go to their events and be a photographer and capture video and content. But that's not how you started, dude. Like it started as for fun, like hobby.
Yeah, no, I was totally picking up a camera. In those production days, I'd been messing around with camera. Like somebody would need some BTS footage, so I just pick up a camera.
So they understand. But when you went into the production world, that was still a sales marketing side.
It was all sales marketing. It was mostly just sales. I mean, it was drumming up new business was what I was doing. And then give
us a year so people can know. Like what year was that?
So let's say that was 2015 to 2018 or
and
so.
I ask this, guys, so that everyone, guys and girls listening, right? Like if you have an idea, you have a hobby or a dream, it doesn't take that long.
No.
In the scheme of things, to build some sort of skill set and then monetize that skill set. So if you were working on the sales marketing side in 2015, picked up a camera 2016, 2017, like, all right, this becomes a hobby by 2017, 18. Is that right? Is that timeline right?
Yeah, that timeline's right.
And then you're making money doing this by when?
On the commercial side of it, right away. I mean, it was out of the gate. I worked with some really talented directors. And
no, I'm sorry. I'm saying for you. On the content side, not your business.
The content. I mean, right away. It wasn't. We're not talking about life-changing money, but we're talking about a nice check here, a nice check there.
Yeah, but what year?
That would have been the end of 2018.
So approximately 2 to 3 years between it, and everyone. This is again a common theme. I think people think that when you start something, it's like they're almost scared to suck. Like no one's ever going to do anything for the first time and be really good out of the gate. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen.
No, it's so
true. And I've seen some of your photography back in like the 16, 17. It wasn't that great. But dude, it's stellar now. Like it's rock star. We're good now. Right? So it's like, I think for anyone, it's like you got to almost embrace the suck for a little bit. Like it's going to suck. I'm going to learn. I'm going to be coachable. And I'm going to find a way.
Yeah, I had no clue what I was doing in those early days. But picking up the camera and I've always shot with Fujis, which are very tactile, like, they feel like metal. Yeah. A lot of the cameras these days are just like big hunks of plastic, but a Fuji has always felt like metal, and you can manually adjust. So you learn about shutter speed, ISO, f-stop, stuff like that. You learn about that very quickly with a Fuji. And in the early days, I did not understand that stuff at all, but you pick it up super quick. And kind of the cool thing about golf is, it's an outdoor sport. So there really are about an hour and 15 minutes in the morning and about the last 45 minutes of sunlight during the day where things just look incredible. So back in those days, I was just trying to get myself outside at those times of days, which are great because historically not a lot of people want that first tee time or that last tee time that finishes 20 minutes after sunset. Yeah. But that's when I was going out and kind of just learned a lot about light and learned very quickly, and kind of the normal photography style going back into kind of the 20 teens and stuff was very saturated and a lot of color and a lot of light, and not necessarily waiting for the time of day, because most PGA tournaments, LPGA tournaments, they don't really take place at those great times of day. You get a playoff like last week at the RBC, those playoffs take you to 45 minutes before sunset, and you're watching and you're like, damn, stuff's starting to look good now. But photography and golf was never really, they didn't wait for those kind of great polar sides of the day to go out and shoot. But when you get out and shoot and you look at them later, you're like, oh yeah, that was kind of the money light right there for sure.
But dude, I got to keep going back to how much I admire you, because I don't think a lot of people have the confidence just to start over, start something new, start from scratch, because you essentially left the production job.
Yeah.
Said, I'm going to start from scratch, right? Going to learn this new skill set.
What was our trips to the PGA show? I mean, if you ever go to the PGA show, you see, God, there's a lot of money in this sport. Like a golf customer is worth way more than a basketball customer or football. There's that disposable income. There's that kind of comfortness of the sport, kind of thing. So when we were going there, and I remember we had the great chats with like Mira and kind of all those brands. What was the John Daly, the John Loudmouth? Like we were going around and interviewing. Yeah,
scared. What was that?
We didn't
Stitch.
know.
I scared Stitch.
Stitch. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't. We were just filming to just kind of go interview people. It was very much, now there's the media badges are a little harder to get. But back in those days, they'd be like, "Yo, if you want to come out and shoot some video here, we're more than happy to do it." So we would just go around interviewing people, not really having a spot for that interview to go.
We did it for fun.
Yeah,
we did it purely for fun. We were crazy. We were doing this before golf was even cool.
Yeah, it's true. We've been playing golf when it wasn't cool for a while.
And I remember at that show, we met up with your current now business associate partner, Erik.
Yeah.
Right. That's when I first met him. I think we first met him.
Yeah. And if you didn't watch Adventures in Golf at that time, it's such a great show. So I'd known him from that show, from the Vice commercials, he did a bunch of spots around waste management. And I'd seen him, met him, out just randomly playing courses one day. But we actually brought that up the other day. We were talking about it. And he's like, "Yeah, I remember the first time I met you." I was like, "Oh, yeah, you do remember? You came up to me and said, 'Remember when I met you that other time before?'" And he's like, "I had no clue that I met you that other time before." But we
must get that a lot.
God, I've walked around with that guy now a lot. We went to the Farmers this year, went to the Masters this year. And luckily at the Masters, there's no cell phones. It's great because a lot of people just kind of, they get into his stories. I gotta get a selfie. And it's great. And he'll do it with absolutely anybody that comes up. He's super great about his fans. If you DM him right now and it's kind of a cool message and he'll respond back right away. But it's very hard to move from place to place when somebody wants to get a selfie every 30 seconds. Yeah. And that's kind of what walking around with him. But yeah, we talked to him that time. I took a couple photos of him that year, just hitting at that back range at the PGA show, just hitting a couple balls, and I still have those photos. And but it was us just kind of running around talking to him. And God, fast forward almost 4 years later, end up working together.
Wow. Was that was that on your radar? Was it like a dream job occupation? Because I fell in love with what he represents. I was on a Delta flight. I think Delta United. I forget. It was Adventures in Golf on a flight.
Oh, it was always United.
United.
Yeah.
It's United.
Yeah. Even though we don't get free flights for those. You'd think United, the sponsor, would give us free flights.
But I'm on the flight and I'm I think my iPad died. I got nothing to watch, so I turn on the little screen in front of me. And I'm watching this dude, Erik, try and make a hole-in-one on a par 3 golf shot. And this dude, I think he slept there or something. He's going all day. Yeah. My back would go out, but I'm he never made it. But I was
no.
What an engaging idea. And this must have been 2015-ish.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, well.
When golf was still not cool yet.
Yeah.
And I'm wow, what just an interesting take, because he was one of the first ones to really be a content creator.
We got to see Erik fall in love with the game and learn the game. And I think that'll always be kind of the cool thing about his story, right? He wasn't someone who played his entire life. He fell in love with the game very late in life in a very spiritual way. And we all got to see that kind of over those early videos. Counted them yesterday. There's 190 videos on the channel now. Whoa. So, that's a lot of content. The podcast episodes, I think it's 350 or 360 or something like that. And that's we talk about the podcast. It's just kind of the hardcore kind of RGCDs distilled down to just just this really strong thing, because it's just Erik talking about life, great guests. He's kind of been a voice, no differently than Bourdain was kind of in food and adventure. That's been Erik in golf.
Yeah. He's definitely one of the forces of that help move, I think, pop culture, make golf cool, say, because it's hard, man. The pandemic helped a lot, as you and I know, but when we grew up playing golf, junior golf, it just wasn't. We've already talked about this in different conversations, but it just wasn't what it is today. And no. I'm happy it's gotten there, but largely in part to your efforts. So let's bridge it into where you're at today, because when you take yourself up in that 30,000 foot view and like look at like what golf has meant to you and where you're at now, like just speak on that. Like what does the game mean to you?
Yeah, I'm seeing the power of the game now for the first time. So there's a fundamental problem. It exists with women, but a lot with men too. Post college, especially exacerbated after the pandemic. It's just really hard to meet new people and make friends, kind of thing. And what a perfect conduit to do that is this game.
You know what's funny? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Because I moved to Nashville about a year and a half ago, and I don't have that many friends there right now, but I think the core group that I see the most are golfers.
Yeah. And again, it's all the things we hit on earlier. It's just getting out there for 4+ hours, shooting the shit, being out in nature. It really helps. And a lot of the stuff we're doing, the content's always great. The apparel is always great. That's not what Random Golf Club is about. Random Golf Club is really about the events that we're doing, the meetups, we call them. Kind of switched to a new format this year, this Mad Scramble, which if you've never seen the video, you got to check it out. Just go to the YouTube page and watch the one from Dallas, which was a great example. But for golf is not really a team game. You have the Ryder Cup, President's Cup, Solheim Cup. But mostly week to week, we're seeing an individual play a bunch of other individuals trying to win a tournament. So this kind of camaraderie that exists in the game when you play a scramble is fun. The 4 people, you see the charity scrambles, like the big, that guy's cheating, right? That 4 scramble format, it's ripe for, whatever.
Yeah.
But extrapolate that out to 20, 50, now 100. We did 130 the other week in Atlanta. People all playing together for a common goal, which is like, we're going to birdie every hole. Can we eagle a hole now, kind of thing. So we played this course called Charlie Yates in Atlanta, right next to East Lake. Literally touches one wall touches East Lake, and it's all short par 4s and par 3s. So we made a 2 on every hole. And the goal, and we got a lot of reviews. We sell tickets for $50. We give most of that to the course. And we got a review afterwards that was like, yeah, I came out today with 130 guys and girls, and we played a scramble. So much fun. I hit 9 shots. Because if you think about it, the putts at the end, whoever makes the putt first, we move on to the next hole, right? Yeah. So this guy didn't hit any putts at the end. He hit 9 shots. Who's out there? We played really fast for that many people playing a scramble. We play in about 2 hours and 30 minutes to 2 hours and 45 minutes or so. But this guy paid a good $50, a good amount of money, to hit 9 shots. And at the end, he goes 10 out of 10. Would do it again. Met 2 people I'm playing golf with this week.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm excited for the future, which is kind of this live activation of the principles we talk about and laughing at the bad shots and all that stuff.
So that's how you're giving back to it, is your contributions to Random Golf Club, and understand the power of the community, understand the power of relationship. And I mean, dude, we've been friends for 20 years now. Going on 30 almost.
30, yeah.
Going on 30 years. So it's like, I think golf has kept our friendship definitely strong.
Yeah. We, the TGT tournament we talk about a lot, but that group was kind of like, we knew no matter where we were in the world, at one point that year, we'd meet at a random place, whether it was Alabama or Bandon or Ireland or Palm Springs or San Francisco. We knew there'd be that one thing, and it was something to look forward to for that whole year. And everybody should be so lucky to kind of have that experience.
Yeah. Do you know that's how I talked to Ian at Sugarloaf? That they had the same kind of story.
Oh, really?
It was like him and his buddies like, hey, we need to keep in touch every year. We're going to do this trip. And that turned into like, let's make swag for our trip. It's like we used to do, right? Yeah. And their swag was just better.
Way better than ours. I believe our swag was like a Travis Matthew towel one year that just said TGT with a Sharpie marker on it. Like we were not.
That's all we got.
We were not Sugarloaf by any means.
So what's next, man? Take us through like the next chapter of whether it's with Random Golf, whether it's on your own, whether it's like what is on the horizon for you with this sport.
Yeah, no, we're going on tour. It's really cool this summer. We're getting a tour bus. We're going on tour, Erik made a very bold promise that we were going to do 50 meetups this year. And it is almost May now, and we've done 2. So we got a lot to catch up. So we're going to get.
Well, season just started. His defense.
It is true. It is true. We could have worked the warm areas a little bit earlier, but we've been slammed with everything. But just literally, I got off the phone with a tour bus company. We're getting a big bus. It sleeps 10 people. We're going on the road. We're picking up people along the way, our friends, photographers, videographers. Kind of think of it as kind of, almost famous meets golf is kind of what we're going for. Just very much just like getting out, going to places that we would never go to, whether it's like Montana or Idaho or something. We're literally going all over the country. And I think it's going to be a great story to tell just of that whole trip, but it's going to allow us to kind of get out. And, we do these meetups. They tend to be in big cities, DC, Atlanta, Dallas, and we're going to get out and kind of do them more out with the people who, if you're in Montana, you have a pretty short golf season, the more north you go. So we're going to shoot up there, get a lot of stories.
Are you going to go for a lot of this?
I'm going to definitely be on it for like the first 20. And then I have 2 kids and a wife. So I'm probably going to, and that's the cool thing about a tour. Like we know the dates, right? So I can just find an airport, hop off, everything's running smoothly, hop back on. I did it when I was in college. I worked on a rock tour with the band The Cure. Gen Z might not know The Cure, but you should check them out. But I'm used to that life. I love that life. I kind of look back super fond that summer. And, it's going to be cool to kind of share that with some people at the company and some of our friends. And you're more than welcome to jump on when we come through Nashville.
Yeah.
We'll pick you up.
You got to go through Nashville. You got to.
100%. Literally, the bus company that we're using is based in Nashville. So we're probably starting and ending in Nashville. So there'll be plenty of opportunities. You pick your adventure, man. You say like, okay, Nashville, we're shoot up, maybe hook through Montreal, down Syracuse to Michigan, and then I'll fly home from Detroit. Like that's what it's going to be like. So it'll be cool.
I love it. All right, so I'm going to ask you 3 questions to wrap this up.
Okay.
So first question, don't think too hard about this. It's going to be hard for you, dude. So being that Mully is our main sponsor, our only sponsor. Thank you, Mully. Shout out to
Thank you, Mully.
Yeah, Mully.
Oh my God.
Going back to like the early days of just buying, selling, hawking, like you were both on the bay. I was probably 18, 19. I'm like really peaked, just like crazy. Mm-hmm. What was in the ethos of that mindset, and then in that mindset, what was like if you had to go try and find one grail right now, what would you try and go pick up?
Oh man, the first thing that comes to mind, I'm just gonna roll with it. Unhit diamond face scores. Like I want to take the plastic off and just see those diamonds caked on the wedge. Never been done. I bet you I could just give me a Pro V1, an X, or like an old Velada. Let me just rip the cover off of it. I'll take like 10 swings with that thing. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Diamond scoring wedges.
It's all wedges.
That is so good. I'm posting that tomorrow. But I'm going to do that, Molly. Okay, great. We're off to a great start here. So this is they're going to get harder now. Okay. Question 2. You have played some phenomenal golf courses. Very lucky. Yeah. If you had to rank your top 3 and why?
My top 3 golf courses to play, or like just for like a general fun time, or like just like because this is it's the number one question Erik always says, what's your favorite golf course? There's 2 ways of ranking that in my mind. There's what's your favorite golf course from just like a beauty, you were in awe, architectural, the people you were playing with might have not been the greatest people, and kind of thing, or like the vibe, or maybe someone was giving you a weird look in the pro shop, but the course was incredible, versus like it's Saturday in the summer. Where are we going? We're all going to have a blast. Everybody's nice. Okay.
Now that you've expanded on that, I need 3 of each.
3 of each. Okay.
And some may overlap.
Yeah. Oh, they will. Top 3 course for course's sake.
That you have played.
Yeah.
And why?
God. I mean, Augusta won. And
why?
why, because it's just like playing golf in a dream.
Yeah.
Like there's no other golf course like it from like a playing standpoint. TV only tells half the story. You know that. You've been lucky to walk it a couple times, and it just, you get out there and it's like you just see every shot from your memory of a certain thing that happened with a pro. It's just baked in there for me. Every hole is baked in there. So when you go out and play it, you're like, oh yeah. Like I could tell you about. I've been lucky to play it a few times, and I could almost tell you about every shot I've had along every round. And I wouldn't be able to do that, even with the other two on my list.
Which are?
Probably, oh God, see, I'm a big template guy. We talked about that. So probably Chicago Golf second.
Okay. Wow.
And then, I mean, God, I got to go Cypress third. Just out of pure beauty.
I'm just going to save everyone else. If you want to punch Landon in the face right now, you absolutely can.
Punch me in the face.
if you could only know the rest, like top 20, it's an incredible list.
It's good. I mean, there's a couple that I put up, like to round out the top 5, Yeamans and Shore Acres, just because I love the kind of the Rainers, and I just love just like that class. I love like being on a golf course and being like, this could be 95 years ago, and I could be in this exact same place with this exact same weather, hitting to that exact same pin. That drives me.
How about let's ask a little sidebar question, just off topic but off my list here. If you had to pick like top golf state or city or just geographical location,
yeah, I got a controversial answer for this. So Los Angeles is the best city for golf. Strong caveat, private golf only. The public courses here are just, there's some fun ones. You can go out to Rustic, play the course, Roosevelt and all the courses in Griffith Park. They're fun. Public golf just is tough.
It's non-existent here.
It's non-existent because the real estate is priced so much. There used to be a lot of great golf courses. You can read about the history.
Rancho Park was dope.
The Valley, back in the days, there was like 2 El Cabs. There was like a different El Cab at a time. There was a golf, Buckley, where Buckley High School used to be a golf course.
No way.
There was like 28 good public golf courses, but then as real estate values shot up, just all of them got turned in because golf courses don't make a ton of money. It's not like a business you go into generate loads of cash flow.
I'm not going to say it's a controversial topic. I think you're dead on with the country club point because look, the Riviera is a stop, Tiger stop here, LACC, which is probably in my top 5, no joke. Having U.S. Open here, right?
Yeah, Olympics at Riviera coming up too.
Yeah,
and then you have
Olympics. The Olympics are going to
Riviera, because the Olympics are in LA.
Wilshire has LPGA.
Wilshire has an LPGA. It's a little too short for kind of anything, but Wilshire has a bunch of LPGA. Lakeside's absolutely incredible. The new El Cab is kind of cool because it was a son that redesigned his father's design, which is kind of
cool
from a cool historical. And El Cab greens have always been like the sickest, best greens in town, just blazing fast. Yeah. And there's a lot of great private golf, not a ton of
your club's great. Golf. They redid your club.
Yeah, the
Hillcrest.
Shout out to Hillcrest. Just Kyle Phillips came here. It was always a good golf course. The big joke was it's an okay golf course with great food. But now we can say it's a great golf course and still has pretty
great food.
we just have a little bit there. But, just a lot of great private golf, and I think Andy from Fried Egg says that LA is probably for a metropolitan city. It's the best collection of.
So if you had to, and I'm sorry, we're probably going to run long on this one. But if you had to take LA off your list, Southern California doesn't exist. You actually can't choose California at all. Northern South Cape. Where else?
So where I was going to go, like public golf right now, and it's a shame it's not a 365-day per year golf city, but public golf around Salt Lake City is absolutely incredible.
Really?
Great privates too up by Park City. I never got to answer my most fun golf courses, but number one out the gate, most fun golf course to play is Glen Wild in Park City. I mean, it's just all the members are so nice. Everybody has a fun time. Like
keep mentioning these really exclusive golf clubs. People can't get on.
You can get on there. Okay, fine. I'll give you Old Mill in around Salt Lake City is really good. That's a good public course. All the official munis for Salt Lake City, you'll go there. The greens run 10, 11. The holes are very interesting. You can't go wrong really in the Salt Lake. As soon as the snow melts, which is going to take a while this year, but as soon as the snow melts, you can't go wrong. And they have good privates too. There's the country club that they played, last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Salt Lake City Country Club also calls itself the Country Club. And the back nine at Salt Lake City Country Club is just like so cool. It's another one of those courses that just transports you in time.
We played up there.
Yeah.
I think Utah golf is just great golf.
Yeah, the southern Utah is a whole, it might as well be a different state kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Sand Hollow is just absolutely incredible. All those desert courses, with the red clay, it kind of feels like you're playing golf on Mars. It kind of takes you away to another planet while you're playing. So I just love Utah as a state for if you want to go out, get like good value for your money and play some really cool courses. There's a ton of great publics, some privates that, maybe a friend of a friend get you on too. But Utah is maybe my dark horse for best golf state in the country. Yeah.
So I did interrupt you for the other two. Are there other two fun
courses?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Glen Wild shoots up to the top, and then I want to say Shore Acres. Those guys, everybody has a lot of fun. The one rule I love at Shore Acres, which I think everybody should adapt, is there's no like you can play a 5-some, a 6-some, 7-some. The only rule is you have to keep up with the group in front of you. So there's no rule about only playing a foursome there. So you'll see a lot of guys playing
at the same time.
Yeah, six or seven. Yeah, you go. That's the thing. Like we play a lot at Griffith Park at Roosevelt, the 9-hole course there, and we've been going out, and because it's such a notoriously slow course, we've been going out with 8 people, 12 people, just seeing how many groups we can collapse and still keep up with the tee time. No matter how big of a group you're playing in, the slowest player is what makes you slow. If everybody consciously is playing fast, you can play fast, have fun playing any group size. Just got to be very aware. And I think it's one of my favorite things in golf. Like, is playing with a group that's more than 4.
Yeah,
like really kind of stretching that out, not slowing down. The second you slow down the course, you're kind of messing it up. But you'll get into a good pace.
Yeah,
and it's not about playing good. It's about playing fast, in my opinion. Because I just think it's who wants to sit there and grind over a bogey putt? Not me.
Not me. All right, so this is the final question. This is gonna be the hard one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna take a second. A lot of my inspiration, whether I know it or didn't know it, for love and golf, is the stories about our appreciation, respect, love for the game, because what it's given us. And I realized sitting here talking to you, remember that address that Erik did? He did an address called like Dear Golf.
Dear Golf, yeah.
Dear Golf.
Yeah.
And I listened to that or read it or whatever, either one. But I was so moved by it because I feel like he was speaking on behalf of a lot of people through his own voice, because I think a lot of us can relate to that. So here's the tough part. So Landon, a.k.a. PAROUTMAN. PAROUTMAN was not a thing a few years ago.
No.
Your current line of work wasn't a thing a few years ago. Your current friend circles probably weren't a thing a few years ago. If you take a second to pause life, pause the movie, extract yourself, look at what's playing, everything, the magic, the life you've lived, and what you're doing right now with this game, with this hobby, this activity. If you had to have your moment of thank you golf, what would you write? How would you thank it? What would you say?
God, wow, that is a deep one. No, when the Dear Golf thing was going off, I talked to Erik a lot about it, because I think it really struck a chord. Anything that gets Tiger to kind of say, like, I want to say mine now and kind of get on that, was, you could tell it touched a lot of people. And it was that, a time where everybody was a little lonely, kind of stuck in their houses kind of thing. But what I would pull out of it was like,
for you.
Yeah. For me. I mean, you kind of touched on it. Like, I just kind of thank golf for the situations that it's put me in. and the people that have been around in those situations and how those people have carried on to different points of my life. I just say without the game, that would have never happened. It's not going to happen in a pickup basketball game, but it's really introduced me to new creative pursuits and new ways of telling stories, which is what I've kind of almost done my whole life, is kind of try to just tell a story or help somebody tell a story. And I feel like a lot of those stories would have never taken place without golf. So I just thank golf for allowing me to see kind of this bigger picture about what life is, what life can be. That's what I thank golf for.
Bro, I have to thank you now for opening up, sharing your story, and letting me get you on the pod, steal you away from random golf for a few hours.
Back to work.
Thank you.
Got a tour to book.
Yeah, but I want to thank you, dude, for the 30 years of friendship. And hopefully, because of Golf and Other, we have 30 more years of awesome friendship.
Can't wait.
So,
can't wait.
Brother, thank you for coming on. Guys, thank you for listening. And I'll see you in the next episode.
Later.